Hi everyone, so we're here today. My name is Alexandra. We're going to talk a little bit about the real estate market in Portugal and a little bit about living in Portugal. And I'm here to answer your questions a little bit live. So here we are. First question is, how do I manage my working time? Well, I'll tell you my secret. I start very early. I start at 5 in the morning, managing my team, my brokers, everyone in place, and of course, managing each and every one of my clients personally myself or with one of my best team members. The secret is to start early. Second question I was asked today, what skills do you need to work in real estate? A few skills that you're going to need. You're going to need communication skills, loving people. I'm a people-loving person. I like to help. You truly need to understand how to help somebody, to want to help somebody find their home and not think about a commission. At the end of the day, we're finding homes for people if you're in residential. If you're in commercial real estate, you need to understand your numbers. Price per square meter is also something that's very, very important. Understand your market. Study as much as you can. Look what's going on. There's a lot of platforms out there, notably Cascais, that helps you understand what price per square meter is in each and every area. Is it the suburbs? Is it the city? Know your market, know your comps. With a family, is it best to live in Lisbon or Cascais? This is very subjective. If you're suburban and you like outdoor living, you like running, for example, outdoor sports, hanging around with your kids, going to the beach, then I would say Cascais is wonderful. You do have international schools around within 10 minutes drive. You have shops, you do have supermarkets, but you're going to be in your car a lot of the time, unless you're in areas center of Cascais or Bonte where you can walk. If, on the other hand, you're a city person and you enjoy the buzz of being out and having restaurants open all the time, going to coffee shops, and you like walking and not driving, Lisbon is a perfect place. It's great to raise a family. It's wonderful with children. It is also very safe, just as Cascais. Lisbon is one of the safest cities in the world. Could you even believe that? Another question we had, is it possible to find a 2-bedroom for rent for under 900 euros in Cascais? Yes, it is possible. It's not going to be in Cascais Center or very close to the coast, but there are some areas in Cascais where you can find some small, decent 2-bedrooms. So it is possible. Average living expensive. This is very subjective. So let's take it if you're a family, for example, of 4. You're a family of 4, you do find affordable supermarkets, for example. I would say that the prices of groceries are less expensive than other European capitals such as Paris, London, Madrid, for example. It might be a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to be very cheap in Cascais and Lisbon. You may expect things to be a lot cheaper. Healthcare is relatively cheap. Hospitals are also free, public hospitals, of course. Schools are expensive. International private schools are as expensive as some other major European cities, so it's not going to be a lot cheaper. Electricity is also relatively high. Water consumption can be quite high, especially in Cascais, not so much in Lisbon. There are things that will differentiate. Restaurants, for example, I find are much cheaper. Taxes are also cheaper here. There are a lot of things that I would say are at least 50% cheaper than cities such as London or Paris or Milan, for example, New York, evidently. However, it may not be as cheap as some people expect it to be. These really depends on your style of living. You can get away on a budget. You can get away as a student. You can also be a family and live in great wealth. There are many advantages of being in Portugal. Another question we had, is the golden visa really ending? Yes and no. So the golden visa in certain areas for real estate, such as Porto, Lisbon, the Algarve, and along the coast, is ending. That you will not be able to purchase your golden visa after January of 2022. There are still ways to buy into the golden visa. You can buy into the golden visa through an investment fund. This currently is at 350,000 euros and will go on to 500,000 euros in January of 2022. If you do invest in areas that are not the ones that I had mentioned, more in the inner lands of Portugal, you can still invest for the golden visa. So there are ways around it. I do, however, advise you to look into it as soon as possible. I wouldn't wait until the end of the year. It's much more opportunistic to get your golden visa right now, and there's still many opportunities. Another question that we had here, how long did it take me to learn Portuguese? Well, I do speak a few languages, Latin languages as well. So it took me 6 months without really studying, just speaking with people. It's difficult in the sense that everyone speaks English in Portugal, so you're not going to be practicing a lot. But if you really do dig into it, it's not that hard of a language. It's difficult to understand. I find that for the pronunciation phonetically, it's a very closed mouth. But if you actually start reading it, you'll see that it is a Latin language. It is not Russian. Some people say that Portuguese sounds like Russian. I tend to agree. At the beginning, I said the same thing. But if you really listen carefully, it is a Latin language, and it's not that difficult. Where do I think real estate is going within the next year? Real estate has been growing, and it will keep on growing, especially since the pandemic. We've seen so many expats move to Portugal, and even more. You can work remotely, which is fantastic. Quality of life is great. It is relatively cheaper than other European countries. You are in Europe. It is safe, politically stable as well, a wonderful country to live, and there are many tax benefits. So I see the real estate market still increasing, especially in areas around Cascais, Lisbon, Porto, Melillas, and all around this area, the Algarve as well. There's a lot to grow here. There's still many opportunities. So I see it as a country in growth, still with a lot of potential. Let's see, do we have any other questions here? How is it to raise a family in Portugal? I have a family. I have 2 children, a husband in Portugal. It's very easy. International schools, there is a huge array of them. There is a waiting list to get on, but there are more popping up right, left, and center. The local schools are also fantastic. The Portuguese schools, the Portuguese system is very good. You have everything you need for children in this country, whether it be sports, after-school activities, healthcare, which is fantastic. Also, if you need help with babysitters, nannies, it is a child-friendly country. You can go to restaurants with your kids. The children are absolutely accepted in any beaches, beach clubs, whatever it is. You really feel it's a country who love children, and this is a wonderful thing. And I love this about Portugal. It made me want to raise a family here. Also, pregnancy is quite easy in Portugal as well. Many women have asked me, friends of mine, was it an easy process? Yes, it was, and I would recommend it highly in Portugal compared to anywhere else in the world. Again, healthcare is relatively cheaper than in the US, for example. What other questions do we have here? Let's see if there's anything in specific that I can answer. Apart from, is it affordable to find a nice house in Cascais? That really does depend. Cascais is one of the most expensive areas of Portugal, but there are certain areas of Cascais similar to what I mentioned for rent. You can find nice houses, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms that don't necessarily have a sea view, but do have a pool and a garden at an affordable rate. There's also the areas between Lisbon and Cascais where you can find some very decent homes. Another question we have here, do you need a special license to work in real estate? So as a brokerage firm, yes, you do need a license. As an agent, you do not. To be a member on my team and most teams in Portugal, you will need to pass an exam and a training period to be on board. Other areas to invest in Portugal? Yes, there are many other areas. People have asked me, what about up north? What about Porto? Porto is an area that's really wonderful as well, not that far from Lisbon, and it's under development. This is an area that I would look into, especially for commercial real estate as well. I think we've pretty much answered the questions today. I'm going to go through. If we have anything else in specific, please don't hesitate to ask me right now when you have me online. The idea is for me to really help you with all your questions, anything you have that I can answer live. And I will be doing this regularly to help expats move to Portugal. That was my one big desire as an expat coming here many years ago, 10 years ago. I didn't have a lot of friends here, didn't know a lot of people, and I wanted to make this simple and easy for anyone coming from abroad, moving to Portugal, creating a community. I think that's what Portugal is about. We're all here for the same reasons, is to enjoy the company of other people, to enjoy Portugal, and to really get involved with the community. Thank you very much for joining, and please join next time, and I will happily answer all of your questions. Have a wonderful evening.